Hey guys, it's been a hot minute since I've made any posts on the YouTube channel, but I figured I'm a little bit overdue now that we're rolling around to the holidays. Just wanted to show you a little bit of what the weather's like here in Buffalo if you're not in the area. But yeah, we got some cold weather coming through, and um, I guess with that being said, this time of year, a lot of us think about the holidays and warm and fuzzy and Christmas spirit and what have you, but just the idea that there's people who are going cold and maybe don't have a family to spend that time with is something to just be aware of and like feel grateful, right? So obviously, I didn't touch base really with anybody through YouTube on Thanksgiving, but that's always a good opportunity to be, reflect on what you are thankful and grateful for. Um, and Christmas, we tend to, ask for gifts. What are we looking for? What are we going to do in the next year to, you know, be better than we were before, as if we weren't good enough. And for me, that's really this past year has been rough. Again, I kind of started this channel talking about how I think the first real one was I left my job and I'm chasing my passion, and I'm not chasing a paycheck. I'm chasing my passion, and I was able to stay afloat for a little while there. But this year has been rough between starting becoming a private contractor and going off on my own as a personal trainer. I hope that a good amount of my clients would follow me, and certainly a handful did and have been, very, very consistent and loyal in that way. But it's been a struggle to build many new clients, being in that setting. So that's something that I'm struggling with, especially, um, again, especially around the holidays. Things can get expensive, and you want to go spend time with friends and family who are in town, and even something simple like going out to dinner or lunch, or getting a friend who maybe means a lot to you, just a little gift, right? But even things like a couple cards, or um, you know whatever it is, it adds up when you aren't even able to pay your rent or buy groceries or fix your car. This is a little bit hard to admit, but between having a lot of clients who were gone for the holidays, whether that was on retreat with their work, or out of town for Thanksgiving, or leaving for Christmas. I have one client who's spending 6 to 8 weeks in Australia with her daughter, and I think that's awesome and it's beautiful. And she has a great facility there, and she does great work on her own. And last year she came back even stronger than when she left, so it wasn't like she took a step back in her progress in the gym. But ultimately, that's two major paychecks, 2 months in a row, that I can expect to not see. So that makes for a very challenging financial situation on my end. One other thing that recently came up was my car needed some work, and it's coming up upon 110,000 miles, so I knew it would need some service. I knew it would need a tune-up and a new timing belt, and maybe due for brakes at some point down the line. But took the car down to Charlotte to see my brother, which was amazing. It was really great to spend some time with him, and super super grateful and thankful for that opportunity. But on the way back, I started, noticing a little bit more serious brake issues. So I brought the vehicle in, and what I thought would be a $300 or $400 brake job turned out to be a $1,200 brake job. Once that was fixed, they noticed some other problems. We fixed one wheel bearing for another 350, and just to find out that there was actually a second one that was loose as well. So, considering that I was struggling to pay my rent and buy groceries and just keep gas in the tank, and it's financially this year has been a struggle. There was some time that I was at the restaurant, and that was helpful, but it still wasn't putting it was getting me by. Sure, I was staying above water, or above, keeping me from sinking, but it was I was still wet. If that makes sense, that analogy. I wasn't able to get out of the water ever, no matter what job I had held. So, working for Westgate with Josh is another godsend that I'm very thankful and grateful for that opportunity. But the reality is that the consistency there and the hours that he has offered me are not sufficient to pay the bills. So as much as I want to chase my passion and not a paycheck, I'm really starting to reconsider this decision and potentially put a few things on the back burner and try to find a full-time job and get a real salary and try to make a legitimate wage. I calculated some of the wages that I probably had made this year, and if I cracked $10,000, maybe 1,100, or excuse me, 11,000, including the time that I spent at Purgatory Resort instructing, which was obviously a big expense to get out there and get back, as it was. I'm not making $1,000 a week, and my bills are more than that. So, as much as it might seem great that I've started my own business and trying to do the nonprofit thing, and we have this awesome charity event to help those who are struggling this holiday season, whether it be with food, housing, financial struggles, clothing. That's the deadlift party is something that I'm very proud of, and shout out to Alex McDaniel for getting that started, because it was totally his idea, but something that I think that it takes a village to host something bigger than just a few $100, and I think we're really putting together something awesome to help some people this holiday season. So I am proud of that, and I'm proud of the progress that we've had at Kenmore Barbell. Whether that's bringing an athlete to a meet and getting her a total, whether that's getting athletes in the gym and getting familiar with putting a barbell over their head, whether it's starting to build a little bit of social media presence and get some awareness with some other professionals in the area and find some mentors and leadership to help guide us on this long road. Again, for me as an individual, the real struggle this year has been money. I mean, it affected my social life in a lot of ways. There's a lot of friends that I would love to see who've asked me to do things, whether it's, let's go rock climbing, let's go on a trip, let's go to this concert, let's go out for a drink, and it's just no. It's just no. It's just not in the works. If you want to bring me a 6-pack and we'll split it, then maybe we can hang out at the house, but I can't afford to be going out to watch the game. I can't. It's just not in the mix. There's been a lot of opportunities for continual professional growth, whether that's myself on the business end of things, or whether that's coaching wise. There was a seminar with a couple Olympians who are going to be down in Pennsylvania that just got posted. It's $150 to go to that event. I can't afford to do that. I really should be having a little bit more of a professional wardrobe. I really should be updating some of my equipment, whether that's in the weight room or on the snow. And again, that money isn't there. So I think that there's probably a lot of people who are in that kind of like mid-20s range where they got some degree in something that they liked, and they're struggling to find a real solid career path within that field. Whether that's because they live in an area where there aren't a lot of opportunities and they don't want to leave home. That's a little bit the case for me. Luckily, there are a lot of different things going on in Buffalo, so there probably are more resources than I realize, and I need to start digging on what those full-time opportunities maybe look like right here in Western New York. But I guess a big part of what I want to do through the foundation, and just as a human and as a social media person and anything, there's value. I find value when other people share their vulnerabilities. So maybe that's an addiction issue, maybe it's a financial struggle, maybe it's some personal stuff, maybe they're dealing with some health issues of their own. And to be honest with you, there's been a little bit of all that within this past 2019. My life has kind of been a mess and all over the place. My house is unorganized, my car is falling apart. My business isn't grabbing any traction in the way that I hoped it would. So there are definitely people who you think are doing great out there that are your friends and family that maybe aren't. Maybe they will share that with you if you reach out. Maybe they won't. So, another thing that's we've been doing through social media is this Devote December, which is really targeted at firemen and first responders and EMS. The amount of suicide that happens within those professions is actually higher than the amount of deaths in the line of duty, which is to me a major problem. So if there's somebody that that works in that field or works in any field that maybe they're struggling to really find happiness in their everyday life, reach out and let them know that they're loved. I know that when my friends do that, it definitely encourages me to keep pushing, and it encourages me to know that there's somebody out there who watched my stupid little TikTok video, and somebody who watched this YouTube and said, I've been pretty broke this year too, but I've been really liking this job that I have, and hopefully we can put ourselves in a position in this new decade to kind of break into that next tax bracket and break into the person that we've always wanted to be. And maybe it's owning a home, maybe it's having kids, maybe it's a dog, maybe it's traveling more, maybe it's upgrading your professional wardrobe, maybe it's going out for a drink with one of your best friends. Whatever that is, I hope that you guys, no matter what it is that you're doing or what it is that you want to do, just know that there is a lot of potential for you to, I think the corny thing that I was always told when I was growing up, and I always think of the Nas song, I know I can't be what I want to be. But it's for real, right? Like, you can, if you want to be something, other than, I'm colorblind, I'll never be an Air Force pilot, but if I wanted to join the Air Force and find a role in there where I can help pilots, then maybe that's there. I will never be a pro snowboarder, but it's in the works right now that I'm signing a contract to be the fitness trainer for the U.S. snowboard race team. That's absolutely a dream job come true, something I didn't even think that it existed. And to be honest with you, that position didn't exist until I am stepping into that role now. So that's really setting the precedent for that team to build progress in a positive direction, and hopefully that team can grow into something more successful and bigger as the years go on. And I'm totally blessed to be a part of it. But with all that being said, it's still not paying the bills. At least it hasn't yet. So no matter what it is that you're doing, I guess, there's the joke, don't quit your day job. And I think that, you might be, the people say that about bad singers, right? Don't quit your day job if you're a bad singer. And it's kind of funny because, I quit being a personal trainer to kind of push this nonprofit idea, which is a little bit backwards. I left a job that doesn't pay me to go do like a lot of voluntary work and, provide affordable fitness and strength training education. So of course there's going to be restrictions with that and a limited income situation. So my encouragement to anybody who does want to chase their passion rather than a paycheck is chase your passion, but don't walk away from the paycheck, and make sure that you have that kind of stabilized before you do anything. And I think that's something that I resisted big time from my parents. My dad always wanted me, oh, go apply at the Ford plant, or why don't you work at Geico? All these things that had nothing to do with my passion, my interest, my skill set, my education. It was just money, and I resisted that because, again, that wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't what I was excited about. And I knew that it would take away from what I really did want to do. So that's why I resisted it for so long. But looking back, in a lot of ways, like, if I had taken a full-time job, whether it was a blue collar or white collar situation, something that was not in my career field or field of study, whatever you want to call it, I would be miserable, and I would, be struggling, probably on an emotional level with the way that I was spending my time, because it is something, anybody who dedicates that large of a percentage of their life to whether it's a job or anything, and you don't love it, that's hard. That's difficult. There's a lot of resistance there. If you do something that you love, it's easy to work hard at it. But at the same time, right now I'm really restricted financially, and had I done something like that, even just for 6 or 8 months, being able to put some money into the car and get that squared away and a little bit more stable, and been able to invest some money into the paperwork on the Strength Foundation. This is a thing that I've had in my head now for about 11 months, and solid 11 months. It's almost a full year, and there's been zero paper trail, which is something I'm a little bit disappointed in, and I would absolutely, I'm looking forward to being able to, submit some type of paperwork for incorporation or nonprofit status, as soon as possible. But again, I can't do that without the money there. I can't advertise without any money. I can't start a website. There's a lot of things that I cannot do because I walked away from that money. And to be honest, the amount of money that I walked away from wasn't full time, and it wasn't the type of hourly wage, nor was it enough hours to put me in that situation. Maybe something that was a little bit more traditional, 9 to 5, would have given me that. So again, my encouragement is find something that will pay you to a point where you have a surplus of income and you have disposable income to do what you want with. And then maybe it's you buy a new bike and you are a weekend warrior, and that's the thing that you love and the thing that you're passionate about, and you become an instructor and you start a trail system in your neighborhood, and maybe compete in that as an athlete, or maybe you just do it for fun, and you bring your friends and you show them the trail, and on when the trail gets beat up, you call a bunch of friends together and order a pizza, and you work on the trail and you make it better. And like, even though that's work, it's fun, and because it's something that you care about and something that you want to do. But again, you can't buy that bike, or you can't buy the tools to do the labor, or buy the pizza to get your friends out there, without having a stable income. If you can't even pay your bills, then it becomes tough to put food on the table and to provide incentive for other people to join in on what you're trying to do. So I hope that everybody out there is, like I said, enjoying their Christmas season and staying warm and fuzzy on the inside and on the outside. And I hope that your finances are doing better than mine. But I just wanted to share that struggle with anybody out there who might be dealing with that. And looking into what this winter looks like for me, it looks like I'm going to be instructing up at Hollymont. But that wage, as somebody who's worked with Olympians, not that that's something that I like to brag about, but I've been instructing for several years now, and I have multiple certifications, and my experience is completely relevant to that job. Not only is it a seasonal job, but it's part-time as well, and the wage is $12 an hour, which is pretty close to minimum wage. So as much as I would love to chase my passion, whether that's skiing and boarding or teaching people how to be strong, without a stable wage, even just driving to the mountain, and being able to afford transportation becomes a real struggle, let alone coming home to a warm house, where I have access to the internet and a warm meal to cook up. So I wish you all the best. That's a little bit of a recap on how I'm doing in 2019, and thanks for following. I hope that this encouraged somebody to, understanding that it's not just, drop your job and go for the fun shit. There's a lot of money issues. As much as I hate to admit it, money makes the world go round. So I hope that you guys can get that in order, so that way you can pursue your passion. That's all I got. Happy holidays.